Raymond Reddington making an accusation. I know exactly what you are.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Blacklist Season 10 Episode 2 review, The Whaler. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. On the Blacklist Season 10 Episode 2, the crew learns of a high-stakes poker tournament, but nothing could have prepared them for the game's objective. In spite of Cooper's objections, Raymond took responsibility for making sure Agnes' school bullying stopped after learning about it. But before that, Sia Malik was welcomed to the team, and various people had different reactions to that. After meeting her in the Blacklist Season 10 Episode 1, we expected her to express her affection for Raymond. She wasn't the only person in the room to feel the same way about him, so it's unclear how long she will continue to retain that position. While she had intended to keep their connection strictly professional until she required his assistance and he gained influence over her, Agent Park could not stand him. We may not have learned everything about her feelings for Raymond. This is Sia's top concern because she doesn't know much about how her mother passed away. There is no doubt that anything she learns will involve Reddington because Raymond is ultimately responsible for everyone who has perished in this program. Indeed, Raymond's actions on the Blacklist, Season 1, Episode 1, would not have prevented Mira from having a long and successful career. That one action was what started the chain of events that resulted in Mira getting stabbed and continues to this day. Sia was unaware of the magnitude of the accommodations required when serving on this task force for Raymond. Donald knows how it is from personal experience. He was the founding member of the group that opposed Raymond. In the early seasons, he might have happily locked Raymond up and then moved on with his life. He had developed an addiction as a result of his ongoing moral conflict. Sia had been warned, but regrettably, some lessons must be learned through experience. Sia will have either reconciled with the status quo or interred Raymond in an unmarked grave if she survives. And Raymond, to his credit, was honest with himself. He was right when he assumed they wouldn't be best friends with Sia. He is so skilled at masking his emotions that it is impossible to know how he feels. He will make an effort to win her over by giving her small favors, but if he is unsuccessful, he is not above setting her up. Each person has a vulnerability, and for Raymond, it switched from Elizabeth to Agnes. He wished he could step in and stop her from being bullied in that way. What if, though, he was overcompensating? The Blacklist Season 9 was devoted to following him as he sought to find out who killed Elizabeth. But it wasn't enough. He only gained one thing by catching the murderer: revenge. He will always feel guilty for being negligent or failing to see the threat. He could have saved Elizabeth and Agnes' mother if he had been a little more cautious. He believed that by taking on the role of her guardian angel, he could atone for his previous transgressions. Cooper advised Raymond against interfering with Agnes' life, and you could see he meant it seriously because he was well aware of what happens to anyone who comes too near to Raymond. Cooper has tolerated many of Raymond's actions, but what if this is the one thing that he won't consent to? Woojin continued to make plans to eliminate Raymond, but a war cannot be waged without weapons. Woojin was in trouble because he had been acting covertly for months by asking for favors or occasionally using blackmail. Yet, a guy cannot survive just on blackmail, only with a deep pocket. One had to agree that Annika had come up with a really clever way to move money. Yet she let her greed rule her, and that was her downfall. Raymond and Woojin had the chance to assess one another when the Whaler placed them in the same space and across from one another. We couldn't see it, but a fight was being fought before our eyes. Although Raymond might have come out on top, the battle was far from over. Woojin had already retrieved a few $1,000,000 before they arrived. With that sum, he might cause some serious harm. Woojin, however, had no intention of killing Raymond. They didn't have guns, but there were plenty of weapons in that room. His long-term goal is to ruin Raymond's reputation in the criminal underworld, break up his alliances, and expose him. Thank you for watching.